Good evening peeps, my name is Scribs and welcome back to another speed paint. Within an actually reasonable time frame, like everything else considered, since I've been on vacation, I'm sort of surprised that I got this one out there as quickly as I did, since usually it takes about at least a month in between these ones. But I'm getting better at it and we're actually getting back into gear on this one, which is only great. But today I got a little bit of a special video for you because it's gonna feel a little different. It's definitely not gonna be any sort of usual PA related drawing video. This one's actually gonna be related to a completely different game that I have gotten really into while the entire rest of the world has gotten really over it. And yeah, it's kinda stupid, but it's Untitled Goose Game. That's right everyone, ever since I came home from vacation I've been having a lot of fun times actually just recording and playing this game, and people seem to have been enjoying it a lot, and apparently also, once again for no reason, my #1 most popular video right now is related to Desktop Goose. So I thought, you know what, why not? Why not try to fit this one in this little speed paint, this little fan art piece before we finally put a lid on Untitled Goose Game and let it fall back in the history books, never to be touched again. But this isn't any sort of regular fan art of just the goose. Let's be honest, if I had to draw just a goose for this episode, it'd be a very short one, and, well, depending on the audience, maybe people would find that it would not be that interesting. So I've decided to do one of my famous switch-arounds where I'm going to take the goose from Untitled Goose Game and take that whole lot of personality that that little goose has got and turn it into a character design. So, I don't see why we're hesitating, let's get started. The goose in Untitled Goose Game has a crap boot of personality, but it doesn't have a lot of visual stuff to really go off the fact that, well, you know, it's a goose. But the makers of Untitled Goose Game, House, actually released a bunch of pictures of what could have been in the game, which includes sort of like a character customizer where you can put different shirts on and different costumes on the goose. One of those being a crown and a red royal robe, which I for some reason just really liked and I wanted to incorporate into this design, as it feels definitely like it fits the character, since Goose seems very either narcissistic or at the very least quite a bit selfish. But after getting clothing out of the way, then we can talk about the more neutral stuff such as skin color and hair color, and even the way the hair is just gonna look in general. And of course the color palette for most of this is gonna be very white, because that is the primary color of the goose. And I really to underline the fact that this isn't as much a completely different character design as it is sort of like a humanization of what the goose would have looked like if it were human. The eyebrows I made a little bit of a darker gray because eyebrows are really important to tell the emotions of humans, so if you remove them from a lot of paintings or drawings, it's kind of hard to tell their expression. And to really make that emotion come through, then I also decided to make the goose's eyes red. Now, no, I don't know whether or not if geese actually have red eyes in real life. I do think that most of them have like a bluish, but I think that can like change depending on the goose race because there's a lot of different geese. And I'm sorry, but I didn't exactly look up my history book or nature book on geese before I decided to do this drawing. So I decided to go with the red drawing because that's what I felt the most fitting to the fiery personality of the goose from Untitled Goose Game. Oh, that, and then it also complements the color of the jacket. Now we've probably reached the point in the speed paint where you might be questioning what I was talking about with me incorporating the kingly outfit into this drawing. And I did so by creating or making the sort of jacket that she's wearing red, and then of course giving her a crown. But Scripts, you might say, why does it seem like this character doesn't really look that royal at all? It doesn't look like the royal outfit at all. It mostly looks like sort of a Lolita design or something of the like. And that's because I actually took a lot of inspiration, or one of the primary inspirations for this video was actually this sort of chart I found. I think you guys have seen them floating around the internet, but they're the sort of chaotic, evil, neutral, true neutral, lawful good, those types of templates. And if you just Google them, you'll find a lot of stuff related to like anime characters and whether or not if they're lawful good, lawful evil, like stuff like that, just so you can be able to tell. And I think it's a lot of fashion and personality, and I really wanted to actually sort of take one of these personalities and try to fit it onto this character design, which of course would be chaotic evil, because let's be honest, the goose is the ultimate evil. It's the epitome of chaos. But in all honesty though, then I actually did decide to just stick more with sort of like the chaotic spectrum, because there were also a bunch of chaotic good designs which I really liked. And also, if we really think about it, the goose isn't that evil. It's not that evil. Of course it messes up people, it's very mischievous, but it doesn't really hurt anyone, I think. But anyways, I went through a whole bunch of ones trying to find the most fashion related templates as possible, and I found this one describing specifically female clothing and fashion, which I thought was kinda cool. It was kinda like a punky Lolita style, which is why I decided to give the character stuff like knee highs, which I actually decided to make like orange along with the shoes, so it actually sort of looks like orange legs, which the goose has. I thought that was kind of like a cool detail, but I also decided to give them this more punkish belt with spikes on it, and even a little bit of a black on the shirt, on the kind of tight shirt, and then also a maybe a little bit out of place, maybe a little bit messy, sort of whitish skirt. Of course, because that fits into the chaotic femme stereotype, but also because that's the only way I could really think of like incorporating the feathers or the fluffiness of the goose's tail or something like that into the design. So that's why I decided to make the edge of the skirt sort of fluffy. But anyways, I think that makes up for about like the majority of the design decisions that I went through creating this. And I will say, while I did go through it sort of quickly, then I'm still sort of proud that I managed to get this much out of what was originally just an angry, mischievous goose. If I had to go into any sort of details, then I was also like talking about, of course, or thinking about the knife in her mouth, which is not just there for no reason. It's mostly a reference to the peace was never an option meme, which has been floating around the internet ever since the game came out, and which, now that I think about it, only helps further cement the goose's personality into the chaotic stereotype. Another detail was actually the hair, which I originally wanted to be very fluffy because of the feathers, and then I actually got the idea that maybe it would look sort of cool if it looked sort of, maybe I didn't go through all the way with it, but if it looks very like slender, very thin, and it might even look a little bit wet or moist because it's a goose and it swims around in water a lot. And then I got the idea in my head that it would be this angry anime character that might have just stepped angry out of like a lake or something, and I don't know, that just made me chuckle, so I decided to go with that. And then to the left of the character design, I just decided to do the little detail, the little gesture of referring to one of my favorite YouTubers who sort of cemented that meme, the Hyonk Hyonk M Goose meme, created by, I think, Jacksepticeye at first. Although I will admit, I am not sure if he got that from somewhere else, so sorry, but if that's someone else that did that first, then just consider that it's a reference to them. All I really want as an artist is just to be cool with the hippity hop meme community. But anyways, that's pretty much all I got for this one, so I'm considering doing more and more of these in the future since I've gotten a lot more confident in my drawing, so you should expect to actually, who knows, maybe this promise might actually pull through. I know that I've promised a bunch of times that I'm gonna do more drawing, but I might be able to do more, but I'm also gonna need you guys' help, so if you have any sort of idea for stuff I should draw, then please write it down in the comments. I would love to give it a chance, and I promise that almost any suggestion that is written down there I will at the very least consider. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.